Thank you so much for having me, Jack.
Now, let's go right from the very start, Angus. How old are you?
It's funny you should ask. I'm almost 19.
Almost 19?
Only 19, yes, almost 19. I turn 19, I think, next week, so yeah.
Oh, cool. And now, where are you from?
I'm from a place called Wauchope, just about 3 hours over the Walker Mountain in that direction. You'll find me. So yeah, near a place called Port Macquarie on the coast.
Well, I think when we were younger, we used to call it Wauchope.
Wauchope, that's it. Yes, yeah, yes, the home of Timbertown. So,
most
yeah.
definitely. Now, who were your influences in music at a young age?
At a young age, I was really inspired by Becky Cole and Jim Haynes. Actually, they were the two people that I first discovered in my grandparents' record collection, and then I moved on to Slim Dusty and Adam Harvey, and then I come across a bloke called Steve Earle, and I was really into his kind of, his work is just so diverse, and just not last year but the year before, I had the privilege of going over to New York and spending a week with him. He had a bit of a camp in the mountains up in upstate New York, and it was really good to get to know him, and yeah, he come over here in April last year, and it was great to catch up with him for breakfast. So yeah, it's really cool having people like that are so supportive of young talent.
Now you've written songs. Now, how many songs? What was your first song you ever written?
The first song I ever wrote was a song called Singing on the Road Again or something. It was the worst song in the world. But
not to the tune of On the Road Again?
No, it wasn't to the tune of On the Road Again. I don't know what tune it was, if it had many words in it, but I was about 9 or 10 and I thought I really needed to start writing songs, because that's what everyone thinks, and it's one of those things you either have it or you don't. I think that's what Steve Earle says, and I've just been lucky that I have been able to find a bit of a knack for writing songs. And I was actually Jim Haynes. I went to the country music college when I was about 13, 14, and Jim Haynes saw that I had a bit of potential, and then he kind of took me under his wing and became my little songwriting coach for a little while afterwards. So yeah, it's all thanks to Jim that I'm writing now. I'm doing heaps of co-writing with people. Like I've just been writing for my second album, and I've done a bit of co-writing with Gina Jeffries and Adam Harvey and Drew McAllister and Troy Kemp and Luke O'Shea and wonderful people like that. Bill Chambers. So yeah, it's been an awesome journey so far.
So are they comedy, serious?
Well, I like to do a mix, because that's the yin and yang of me. I have a light-hearted side, and I also have a serious side. Writing kind of ballads and songs like that too. So it's good to be able to do the two. I wouldn't be complete without having those two kind of sides, and also variety in my live shows is so important, because I like to be able to have something for everyone in the show, and still being true to myself and knowing who I am. But I just find,
Well, it's great to be versatile.
That's it. Yeah.
It's great to be versatile.
Yeah.
Now, when did you release your first single?
I released my first EP when I was about 15. And the first single off that was a song called Tea and Biscuits, which I still get requests for all of the time, even though it was a song, it was very appropriate for a 15-year-old at the time. And I think now I'm getting older, I'll need to change it to JD and Biscuits. So
well, yes. And how many EPs have you released, or albums?
I've only released the one, but I've also had a couple of singles out. My most current song is Today I Could Be Dead, and that was actually something that kind of struck me by surprise. A good friend of mine, Lola Brinton, had written the song, and she asked me if I'd sing on it, and I was so pleased to be asked to put my voice to her very poignant song. So yeah, that's the most recent song, but I do have I am actually just about to go into the studio because I'm a producer
Yes.
myself. So I'm just about to go and record my 12-track car-themed concept album, which will be hopefully out around August, September this year.
So you're a bit of a rev head.
Yes, yeah, I totally am. No, I just wanted to kind of get this take a new slant on those car and road themed songs. So we've written songs like Police Forgive Me and P-Plater and Roadworks. You're hating it, they're digging it, Roadworks. So you know, there's a good mix there.
Well, you just have to watch the news and you can pick up a lot of stuff.
That's it. You certainly can.
Now this year you're a finalist in Star Maker.
Yes, yeah. Star Maker was fantastic. It's always been a brilliant platform for up and coming artists, and I just went out there and had a ball. I knew I was the most different finalist because I've always did my own thing and been true to myself. And yeah, it's been really awesome to be able to go and play all these shows here and there in Tamworth, and people coming up to me and really being so supportive because they've seen me play in Star Maker and I've connected to them or been doing something right. It's nice to know that people are really enjoying my music. It's really rewarding when someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, I really connected to that song." So,
and what song did you perform?
I did two. I did Roadworks and a ballad, Before We Say Goodbye, which I wrote with Lynn Botel. So it was really lovely night.
Now you have been a support act for many artists. Can you name drop a few?
Black Sorrows actually I just did recently, and Joe Camilleri and the guys were just amazing. They were really supportive, and it was really cool to play to a crowd that, you know, they're not necessarily a country music crowd, but they are kind of from the same vintage as a lot of our country music supporters. So it wasn't that different. It wasn't that much of a difference in you know, their music to my music, even though it seemed like there was a huge, you know, because I'm country and they're kind of blues rock. So, but it still worked, and it was a fabulous opportunity because, you know, I find doing support gigs, you get people coming up to you after the show, and then they'll like your page on social media and comment on everything after, and that's really just awesome. That's why I love doing supports, because you get really supportive people. So supports equals support.
Well, that's it, and you get to know a lot of people in the industry.
That's it. Great networking too. Yeah.
Now, any awards yet?
Oh yes, I've been privileged to pick up a TSA award.
Oh yeah.
For songwriting, and won numerous national songwriting competitions. So writing's my main thing, and I suppose those awards have really been a pat on the back that you're doing something right in songwriting, because it is there is a lot to learn, and I'm just very thankful to people like Jim Haynes and that have been able to teach me the craft early on. Because songwriting is something I just love doing, really reaching out to people, and that's my way of talking without talking.
So you've been on a national tour or just gigs here and there?
Yeah, well I do. I'm actually doing a tour this year because I'll have my album coming out, so I'll be doing a tour to coincide with that, going here, there and everywhere. So there'll be more details on that later, no doubt. But I have had the privilege of doing a very small tour with Troy Casadale, doing a couple of runs of shows with him, and then just supports, you know, Black Sorrows, Glenn Shorrock, Carice Eden, Rick Price, people like that, Adam Eckersley Band. It's just awesome. I just love getting out on the road and playing as a support for those guys. So.
No, that's excellent.
Yeah.
And you mentioned a little while that you're a producer.
Yes.
Now, have you produced any local talent or any talent whatsoever?
Yes. I've just recently done my first couple of production projects for local artists around the Port Macquarie area. And I'm actually going to, as soon as I head home, I've got some more EP projects to move on to, and then I'll be recording my own album. So,
would you be able to name drop them?
Name drop them, yes. Well,
I'm sure they would like to be mentioned.
Wonderful lady called Jeanette Parsons.
Yep.
She's a local country music singer, and she just released a song to radio called Little Timber Town. And then I've done an Americana band called Blank ID, and they've just also released a single to radio. So they're just fabulous talent, and I really felt privileged to work with them.
Well, there you go. Yeah. So have you done any, you've mentioned a little while ago that you do comedy as well, you're entwined comedy with your music and that.
Comedy on stage is normally just an extension of my wacky personality.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it also just acts as I do stand up, you know, for certain things separate to my music for different functions and so forth, and also comparing. And I like to keep them separate to my music as I like to keep my pub gigs separate to my solo career as Angus Gill. But it's comedy is when I'm doing my own solo gigs, that is really to tie in the music with the stories. Just in between, kind of to transition into the next song, I do a bit of light comedy, you know, because you have to keep it light, and you have to know your audience and what they want. And a stand-up comedy audience has different expectations to a country music audience. So
they certainly do.
You know, you have to keep that in mind. It is very rewarding when you know when you've got a script that works, and you're able to go out there and give it your all and be confident because you know your stuff. You know, it's great. I love doing what I'm doing, and it's just great to have some fabulous opportunities come my way. I really appreciate it. You know, if you don't put emphasis on getting yourself out there, no one else is going to do it for you. You know?
True.
So you do have to, in this industry where 95% of the artists are independent, you do have to make yourself a priority because no one else is going to. So I think be yourself is a big one. You have to know, just because there's so many people in this industry that'll suggest this and suggest that, and you have to take that on board, but you have to also go, is this true to myself too? And I think that's very important. If you say, okay, I totally understand where you're coming from in that, but also at the same token, that's not me. You have to go, oh wow, that's a cool idea, or that's a great idea, but I think it'd be best if I choose to do this instead, because that would be more me. I think you have to be comfortable in getting feedback also off different people in the industry is so important. Just getting their ideas, because everyone has their own views and has their own opinions on what you should do. And some of it is just groundbreaking. Like it really opens your eyes up to this side of the industry that you wouldn't have been able to see unless they come and said, hey, you know, change this or do this. You might be getting better results. But I think, yeah, really be true to yourself and take on others' advice, but also know that not everything is going to work for you.
What would be the highlight of your career so far?
My highlight of my career would be meeting Steve Earle and kind of getting his opinion on what I'm doing. Also is really cool, because networking is an amazing thing, and to be able to know people like him and shoot him an email and catch up for a coffee if he's over here is really awesome, and it's great. We do have really supportive people in our industry, but also I was lucky enough to co-write a song with John Foreman and Harry Angus out of the Cat Empire a couple of years ago with a couple of musos like myself, and that song was sung by over 500,000 school kids all around Australia. So yeah, I feel really privileged to be involved in that. So,
oh, that's excellent.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me too, Jeff. I really appreciate it.
No worries, and Angus will definitely see you next year here in Tamworth, I hope.
Yes.